Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Weird Frequencies. Broadcasting live from a cornfield deep down in a bunker in the middle of South Central Illinois. It's Weird Frequencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's a show that asks the question, what in the... No, just kidding.
We ask that a lot.
Yeah, we do. So we just, figure out weird things going on in the world, and we share them with our listeners, and we talk about it and try to figure it out. So there you go. Let's see. Got to get the chat room up over the overlay thing. How does that work? Dang it. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, I'm not sure, but anyway. Oh, there we go. Show comments. Okay, there we go. So if you type anything in chat, it'll show up in the corner down there now.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Okay. So tonight on Weird Frequencies, we're going to stop the music.
Compared to our normal 8 o'clock time, we are early.
Yeah, we're supposed to start at 7, so we kind of messed up there, but I'm sorry about that. But yeah, normally we're going to start at 7 o'clock. So
from now on, so you all know.
Yep, it's 7.
Also, before we get started, share the show. Let your friends know.
Yep,
especially the weird friends,
We don't know where Tyler or Adam are. They totally ghosted us tonight. So maybe they...
No call, no show.
They both get written up tonight for the no call, no show. Okay, so, but otherwise, join the show in the chat, type stuff, we'll respond, let us know what you think. Tonight's show, though, is a 2-part show. The first part is is going to be cattle mutilations. We're going to dive into cattle mutilations and talk about whether or not they're real, right?
Poor cattle.
One thing with AI nowadays is there's
don't
no
know
more...
if it's real or not.
No. This is the thing. You can find out if things are real or not, Bubba. Like things that we didn't know the answers to before.
You're
like we know the answers now.
Not
and
just
like
AI pictures or video. You're talking.
I'm just talking
AI itself.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
Basically, I forget where I was going with that. Now you messed me all up.
But couldn't AI still hide stuff? I mean, how do we always know that AI is telling us the truth?
Right. Well, it is most of the time. It can't lie. It could be wrong, though. It can't lie. But okay, my point was the AI now has made everything transparent. It really has. We can figure out if things are real or not. Things that maybe 10 years ago we were like, was that real? We can kind of go back into that now and do some investigation and find out, that it's not real or it is real. So, and for sure, like for instance with Bigfoot, no offense, Bubba, but with Bigfoot, if you ask AI if there's Bigfoot, there's absolutely no Bigfoot. And why? Because there's no proof. There's no evidence. There's nothing. Not one speck even. So that's the whole problem. So AI says no, it's there's no Bigfoot. I'm sorry, everyone out there, but anyway.
Well, I hate to say that I'm smarter than AI, but
then maybe in some cases, maybe in this case, hopefully you are. But anyway, something that's people talked about it's been a long-standing mystery that's been baffling people for decades, and that's cattle mutilations. And we're going to dig into it tonight. And cattle mutilations, you can see we got the Wikipedia up here. It's the killing and mutilation of cattle under supposedly unusual and unusually bloodless circumstances, reporting, the ears, eyeballs, jaw, lymph nodes, genitals, and rectum get eaten. Right. So
But
these
this
aren't
don't
just
just happen to cattle, though.
well.
There are other animals that this happens to. I mean, it's happened to horses,
Well,
goats.
probably, yeah, yeah, and we're going to talk about why and how. The, I mean, and these aren't just random dead cows. These are carcasses with missing eyes, tongues, udders, other
And
organs.
stuff with surgical precision, too.
And no blood at the scene. Right, that's the other thing. Some people claim thousands of cases over the years of this. I mean, there's been thousands of these happening. So, what the hell is responsible? So, let's define what we're talking about here in Wikipedia. This is their overview of the phenomenon, and this page walks you through, what gets removed, when and where reports get spiked, and both natural and paranormal explanations, basically. Right. So most of the widespread attention from this goes back to the 70s, especially Colorado and other Western states. At one point, it was big enough that the topic made state news and federal hearings. Right. So here's, let's see. What's the best way to do this? I could just do this, probably, huh? There we go. Sorry. Trying to figure this out. So, in the 70s in Colorado, it was big enough where it made, uh, state and federal hearings news. Like it was the Federal Bureau of Investigation, you know what I mean? Um, and then, there's the cults, the UFOs or cults stories, right? There's cults, like there are thousands of people going around and they're just cultists and they just, surgically cut these cows up, right? So, what do you think it is, Baba?
I don't know. There's so many different explanations that it really could be. It's weird and mysterious, no matter how it happens. But
So many veterinarians and investigators say that most of the cases are not mysterious at all. Basically, this is the National Library of Medicine, and this research right here shows how carcasses can be shaped by insects like blowflies and maggots and bacterial action. And like here's images of it happening, where it makes the dead cow look surgically altered, right? Even when it isn't.
well, but it also doesn't really explain though a freshly dead cow that has a perfectly circle hole cut in,
It's
and
not
again no
freshly
blood in.
it's not freshly dead. It's been eaten by maggots and bugs and then also by animals,
I think some of them
dogs.
have been freshly dead that they found.
Right. Well, it fell over dead, and then a dog came along and ate a circle in it, or an animal, or some kind of thing like that. Uh, so the skeptic's definition. Let's read that. Let's see. Hold on. Let's go to this. Cattle mutilation is used to describe animal corpses with unusual or unexplicable features by devotees, and they think our countryside's plagued by satanic cults in search of animals for rituals. What counts as unusual or inexplicable is just about any cut, wound, mark, incision, blah, blah, blah. These mutilations, we are told, is being done by bad aliens or bad devil worshippers. No one has shown either of that there are thousands of inexplicable animal deaths around the globe. If they are, that they're related, much less that these are the result of an alien experiment or satanic activity. These facts are no deterrent to people who everywhere say that Satan is everywhere and, blah, blah, blah.
Satan rituals or whatever, they're going to stick to chickens and cats and
saying Satanists have been killing and mutilating thousands of animals supported by little more than an argument to ignorance. There's just no evidence of it, right? So that's what the skeptic says about it. No verified. Basically, this breaks down and says there's no verifiable evidence of aliens or cults, and that scavengers and natural decomposition, often explain the missing parts and the bloodlessness. Blood goes into the ground quickly too, and dissipates fast. Doesn't just sit there on the top of the ground. So now, because weird frequencies covers the odd and the unexplained, here's some resources to people who point out that they lead towards something's not normal, like alien investigator Linda Moulton Howe, who's passed away, but she's been a major voice in the something explainable camp for years. She's a cool lady. She was an awesome lady, but she definitely
a well-known name.
Yeah, she was on Mark Bell all the time, and she's just known for suggesting that, extraterrestrial or unknown aerial influence of some kind is, I don't know. And then there's the alleged mutilation of the horse named Skippy in 1967 that hit national headlines, and that became a big part of the folklore. Skippy, here's Skippy the horse. So his death was allegedly, and dissection was allegedly, it was a big, widely reported thing, and folklore suggested it might be linked to satanic cults, intelligence operations, or even flying saucers. So I guess the skeletal remains can be seen. So there's Skippy, reportedly with the clean cuts. There's Skippy. Oh, and here, of course, Linda Moulton Howe got in there on it probably, and she documented and popularized the Snippy case. Okay, so this case is often referenced to, by people who think something unexplained is going on, basically. So why no blood? Explanations here is what we need about this. One of the biggest mysteries people talk about is that they claimed lack of blood around these carcasses. So here's some resources that address that directly. Right. Here is blood can settle inside a body after death. It doesn't always pool or stay on the ground. Here is a history article that we were looking at about how the bloodlessness. They talked about that in here. No, where was that? Lady, the horse, no, I'm sorry. I thought there was. Oh, yeah. When the animal dies, the heart stops and blood stops circulating, thus settling the bloods via gravity, creating a bloodless effect in surface parts of the carcass. Bloodlessness is just liver mortis, basically. It's just natural, A sheriff's department conducted an experiment and placed a dead cow in a field for 48 hours, found it looked a lot like the mutilated ones. 48 hours, bacterial bloating, and causes skin to tear in an incision-like manner, similar to what had been detected in some of the ranchers' reports. Maggots, blowflies, they cleaned out the animal's organs. In 48 hours, that happened. So, these people are coming out and finding these cows, and it's just natural what's happening to them. Here is a skeptic.com analysis on how scavengers and decomposition makes this story here we looked at earlier. It talks about how decomposition makes carcasses look bloodless.
Here's another question I had.
There they are. Yeah.
Say if it was aliens, why the hell would they want pieces of cow?
Yeah, why would people who have warp speed and that are thousands of times smarter than us need cows?
Especially a cow's anus.
They don't. That's right. They don't. Photos are definitely, not scientific proof, unfortunately. The photos, even if they're not doctors, I mean, even if they're not doctored, they really don't need a lot of proof because they're just cattle deaths. The wounds are weird or bizarre, and that's it. So especially if it's hot out, then that could do crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So the human perpetrators theory. Some cases drawn speculations that humans might be involved, whether pranksters, cult members, or poachers, but there's just no verified group proven to be responsible for the majority of cases. Reports from the 70s even involve law enforcement observations of unmarked helicopters at times, of mutation investigations.
Now, I'm sure over the time it's been hoaxed a time or two, but I don't think it gets hoaxed a lot.
So unresolved cases and mystery, no matter which explanation gets the most support, there are individual accounts that don't neatly fit into any one category. And that's what keeps this topic alive. Whether you lean towards the nature and scavengers or humans or government secret operations or just maybe something beyond our current understanding, there's no proof of anything published tying all the cattle mutilations to a single force, right? So let's break it down. Most so-called mutilations can likely be accounted for by nature and the scavengers. Okay? That's the deal. Some cases, might involve humans. But again, there's been no confirmed single culprit ever. Ever. No one's been busted for this. Ever, Bubba. So it's not people. They'd have caught somebody by now on video or something, or where they got even farmers got ring cams all over their farms now, probably.
Especially nowadays.
So
70s, no, but
so we'll try. I'll drop these links in the chat, and you can go through them, and if you want to dive deeper. But a few reports remain unresolved about this, and that's what keeps the whole mystery alive. But you can click on the links that I'm going to drop in the chat from the segment, if you want to dive deeper into the science or the skepticism or the history or the paranormal angles. But remember, this is weird frequencies. We're not here to tell you what to believe. We're here to explore what's out there. Okay? So remember that. We're not here to tell you nothing. We're not here to tell you what to believe. Right, Bubba? So
Except
that was,
Bigfoot.
yeah. Well, Bubba does want you to believe in freaking Bigfoot. I don't. I want to believe, though. Don't get me wrong. I am on Team Bigfoot. Bigfoot's the shit. How could you not like Bigfoot? Bigfoot and Wild Boy when I was a kid. The Bionic Man and Sasquatch. Come on, man. I love Bigfoot, dude. And I want him to be real. So I'm on Team I want him to be real. But I think, although there is a chance because so many people have seen him, and the fact that there's no physical evidence that he could be something not physical, paranormal or mystical, or something like that, some kind of Indian legend. I remember my friend Harold, he was an Indian, a Croy Indian, I think, and he always used to tell me, I never saw him before, Rob, but I felt him, man, in the woods for sure, dude. He's real. Yeah. But anyway, and he told me that years ago, back in like 85. He was like, he's not a physical thing you can touch. He's mystical. He disappears into the mist, Rob. That's what he told me. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. There we go. Okay, so next up, we are gonna talk about. I was gonna put these links up in the chat real quick before we move on. All right, let's see.
Broomstick.
She's a believer.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm a believer. Then I saw her face. Bam, bam, bam. Broomstick's a believer. And not a Justin Bieber believer. Believer. A Bigfoot believer. Right. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm throwing these links in here. There we go. There's a link to the Wikipedia cattle mutilation. Here is just a cool story, on the history of our cattle mutilation buddies. Here is a link on how scavengers can mimic clean cuts and even pictures. So it's gross. So watch out when you go look at that. Here's the skeptic's discovery, the skeptic's explanation, what they have to say about it. Some cool information in there. Here's a link to Linda Moulton Howe, who definitely believed that they were something freaky. And finally, a link to our boy Skippy the horse.
Not doing much skipping now, is he?
Yeah. And then one more. Oh, that was it. Yeah. Okay, good deal. All right. So yeah, you can click on those links if you'd like to carry on the cattle mutilation thing. All right. But sorry, we're pretty sure it's not real, guys. No real cattle mutilations going on. Sorry for you. So, Bubba, we don't have the side view thing going on now. I don't know what happened. The funny, cool camera view. But
did you change the setting or something? Accidentally?
No, I do not know, buddy. All right, let's see here. So, up next, we're gonna do a 3-part series on giants. The first part, let me get this all on. Hold on here. Sorry. Okay, so part 1, it's going to be a 3-part series, right? Tonight's the first part because it's long, and I'm going to talk about giants, basically the history of giants, all of them, everything about them. And whether they're real or not, and stuff like that. So, but it's going to be a 3-part series. Tonight's the first part. Tonight is giants, real history or myth, right? Part 2, we're going to talk about the Nephilim and the Book of Enoch, right? And then part 3, the third week, we're going to talk about lost civilizations and the reset theory. Okay, and that all has to do with giants. So there you go. Let's see here. Mm-mm. Sorry, let me get this thing going here.
See, obviously, I don't believe there's giants now.
Uh-huh.
I do believe there was a race of giants, at least at one point in time.
Okay. Gotta go back here a little bit. Sorry.
Wasn't there somewhere a cave that was found that had giant skeletons in it?
I don't know. Hold
Keep
on a
thinking I
second.
heard something about that. It's been a while though. It's
Okay. Sorry. Lost my total thing here. There we go. Mm-mm-mm. Okay. Sorry. That was the longest pause ever on the show.
Broomstick says there have been a few incidents of skeletons found, and the Smithsonian took them.
We're going to talk about that. We are definitely going to talk about that. All right. Giants, ladies and gentlemen. Dun dun dun, distant thunder. Okay, tonight's episode is this part. Part 1 is going to be dedicated to one of the oldest, biggest, most controversial questions on the internet. Not tall people, not basketball players, not medical anomalies. I'm talking about the claims of ancient giants, 10, 12, 15 feet tall. Were they here? Were they wiped out? Did a great flood maybe erase the evidence? And the big one everyone asks, does the Smithsonian hide all the bones? So tonight, we're going to take a look at this, slow, honest, and grounded, right? Because, like I said, we can find these things out now, right? We're going to right now. So we're going to separate legend from history and evidence, right? That's what we do on this show. So let's begin. Part 1. What people mean when they say giants? Let's see. This guy. That's Robert Waldo. Right? There's extremely tall humans, 7-footers, 8-footers, rare but real.
But his was a medical condition, though.
He was the tallest human confirmed in modern history. His name was Robert Wadlow. And how tall do you think he was?
I forget.
Guess. Guess, chat.
8'2".
Huh. Any guesses from the chat? 8'11". You cheated. No, that's probably pretty widely known. Robert Wadlow was 8 foot 11 inches. That's documented. That's medical. That's real. But type 2, right? This is the other type. That's type 1, extremely tall humans. Type 2 is a separate race of giants, right? Like 10 to 20 feet tall. Not just tall, but different. This is the version people claimed, was erased from history. These are two very different claims. Excuse me. One has evidence, the other doesn't. Why giant stories exist everywhere. Okay, so let's see. Hold on. This is why. One of the strongest arguments people make is this: if giants weren't real, then why do they show up in almost every culture? That's a fair question. And you'll find giant stories in the Bible, Greek mythology, Norse mythology, Native American legends, South American legends, Asian folklore. In the Bible, Genesis talks about the Nephilim, which is often translated as giants. Here's the King James version on the screen there. In extra biblical texts like the Book of Enoch, these beings are described in even more detail. So, yes, giants are everywhere in myth. But here's the hard truth, everybody. Myth is not evidence. Okay? Myth tells us what people believed, what they feared, what they symbolized, right? Not necessarily what physically existed, unfortunately. All right. So, the Smithsonian. Do they hide giant bones? Let's pop this up on the screen.
The sad thing is when people like that, Robert Wadlow, their condition usually causes them to pass away at an earlier age.
Uh-huh.
And it has to do with the medical condition.
Right. Yep. Trying to get into the Smithsonian. This is the place I had bookmarked. And of course, now they're blocking me. Let's see. I was trying to go to their anthropology page.
No, don't talk about that.
Right, isn't that wild? Is there a search? Yeah, let's see. Okay, so there's the Smithsonian's anthropology area. Apparently, I don't know. I did have it before, but sorry. Now we found their search engine. Anyway, people say that the Smithsonian confiscated giant skeletons, that they buried the evidence, that they rewrote history. Now, here's what we know for sure. There is no verified proof that the Smithsonian is hiding giant skeletons. We know.
Of course, there's no proof. They don't want you to know something. There's
I
not going
know.
to be the proof.
I'm not saying it's not being hidden or lied about or whatever, but there's not one tiny speck of proof of this, that the Smithsonian is hiding giant human skeletons, okay? If a real 12-foot human skeleton existed, it would be the biggest discovery in human history, okay? It wouldn't stay hidden. Somebody would leak it. Somebody would photograph it. Someone would run the DNA and they would publish it, right? But that's never happened. no peer-reviewed papers. We talk about that a lot on this show. Peer reviews, and proving things, and there's been no verified measurements, no museum specimens, no peer-reviewed papers, no investigations. This has just never happened. It's just stories. So there you go. So part 4 right now, verifiably, it's just stories. Where the giant bone stories really came from. So why are thousands of year old stories claiming giant skeletons were found? That's because in the late 1800s and early 1900s, newspapers were wild, and there was no fact checking in the 1800s and 1900s, and there was no standards, right? It was just sensational headlines sold papers. I think it's
Yeah.
bad now. It was really bad then. So
The
a six,
tabloids.
yeah. So back then, a 6-foot skeleton could be found, and it could be turned into a giant 10-foot monster was found in a mound. Like that's how things really. And to add to that, misidentified animal bones over the years. Maybe they found mastodon or mammoth remains. It was just exaggerated, or it was just outright hoaxes. And then suddenly the internet thinks history was erased. So, um, okay. What if a great flood wiped them out? This is one of the strongest arguments that the true believers have. What if a great flood? All right. Here, let's look a little bit about yellow
um,
journalism here.
well, someone's backstage.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool, cool. Hey, what's up, buddy?
We don't hear you, Tyler.
Is he muted or something? No?
Oh, mic's on because it's lit up.
Okay, guys, hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
I'm so sorry I'm late. I had to deal with a sick girlfriend, a sick dog. It's been one of those days.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's just been one of those days. I'm so sorry. I meant to message earlier, but didn't send. I was like, shit.
You're fine, buddy. So, we're talking about where the giants come from, and one thing I, pointed out was in the 1800s and 1900s, there was this thing called yellow journalism. It's right here. And it was just headlines were exaggerated and sensationalized, and people just made, crazy big lies about stuff, basically anything sold, evil spirits in your coffee or whatever, like that's where a lot of the crazy wacky stories would come from about giants, that really made them huge. But let's see. I wish I could have got you this, Tyler. Hold on.
Yeah, let me log on with Weird Frequencies account real quick. I'll still be here. Hang on a minute.
All right.
Let's see. There we go. Okay.
Here, Tyler, I'm going to send you something in our private chat,
Okay.
and hopefully, no, god dang it, that don't work. Yeah, that looks terrible. Maybe not. Those are all links you could click on and show for us while I'm talking if you want, if it'll work for you.
It won't let me click on it, but let me look this up real quick. I can find it.
Here, I'll send you a different version through chat or something.
Okay. I get all this put up. Okay, which one do you want me to click on first? The on-screen visual one?
Just from the top, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that's better for you. That's Snopes one to begin with, right?
The Snopes one?
It came through.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's saying that says it can't find it, so let me look for it through Google.
Okay, that's okay. Skip that one.
Okay, we'll just skip that one then.
So we're talking about what if the Great Flood wiped them out? That's where we're at there, right? You can see the on-screen visual there, right? And the flood myth is what I want you to show, right?
All right.
So what if a great flood or extinction event which washed away all the giant bones, right? Look, so floods destroy evidence, erosion destroys evidence, time destroys evidence, but here's the problem. Floods don't erase everything. Do I need to take my screen off there? Yeah, sorry. We still find dinosaur fossils. We find mammoths. We find ice age animals. We find ancient humans. We find tools and settlements. If a race of giants existed, we would still find giant teeth, right? Because teeth survive almost forever.
Right. Teeth are actually a lot more sturdier than most bones.
Uh-huh. Did you get those links to show yet, Tyler?
I'm working on it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No, you're all right. You're all
Thought
right.
it'd be easier for you.
It's interesting too because when the woolly mammoths were first discovered,
Uh-huh.
they were thought to be cyclopses. Because if you look at the skull of a woolly mammoth, it doesn't look like what they figured an elephant's skull would look like. They called it like mammoth cyclops.
No kidding.
Yeah, so that was the whole theory. And then after a few months, they realized, oh, it's not a cyclops, it's an elephant. Let me pull it up real quick.
I'll be darned. So we find all these things. We find the mammoths. We find ancient humans, tools, settlements. We should be finding giant teeth. We should be finding giant skull fragments. We should be finding giant femurs. We should be finding giant tools that they use to scale to do their work. Even one verified skeleton would change everything, but we don't have that. So,
see, this is what they were talking about because they didn't know. They thought this center part here where the trunk would be at the cavity, the nasal cavity, they thought that was the eye of where the animal's eye. That's why they thought they called it. They thought it was a cyclops because originally first they just found the skull. They didn't find it was a female. They didn't have the tusks. So that's where the whole theory of mammoth cyclops came from.
Wow. So we don't have any skeletons, man. We have skeletons of everything else there is, that we know existed. And if we had one skeleton, that'd be great. But we don't. And the Smithsonian has zero. And they weren't hiding nothing. There's no evidence of them hiding anything at all, ever. No one's been accused of nothing, anything. So it's all myths and stories created in the 1800s, 1900s, and blown up. And you know, um, like I said, they found they find a 5-foot skeleton, and they turn it into a 12-foot monster was found buried out in the woods, y'all. You know. So anyway, and then floods that might explain, why evidence is rare, but it's not why it's non-existent. Right? Floods don't explain why there's nothing. I mean, we got dinosaur bones. Come on. Right, Tyler?
Well, yeah, and the thing is too is like people say, one of the things I hate is people say, well, dinosaurs aren't real, they're a myth, they were created. That's because
but we can hear you typing on your phone. Will you stop that?
Sorry.
That's because years ago when they started finding dinosaur bones, they didn't have an idea these were actual creatures. They thought they were dragons. So like you look on like ancient cave drawings, you look on even the Egyptians had carvings of dinosaur looking dragons. That's where the whole argument comes into play is that, we didn't know dinosaurs existed. We thought that we were finding with dragon bones. It wasn't until like 18 or 17 something or another that they discovered mosasaur bones and ichthyosaur bones. That's when they were like, yeah, these aren't some mythical creature. They're actually like a legitimate animal. So, and then the whole argument's also that, well, dragons did exist. They were wiped out in the flood, kind of like the giant theory, but if there was a species that existed like a dragon or a giant, for example, we would have found fossil evidence by now. That there's no way the government can cover up every ounce of that. It's going to be there somewhere. Like with teeth, for example, skulls, that kind of stuff.
Yep. So, all right. So last part, part 6, the mountains are frozen giants, right? There's some visuals there. I don't know if they're going to work for you, Tyler, but you could try them out. Let's talk about something that really messes with people. It's rock formations that look like faces and bodies and sleeping giants. And we've shown them on the show before,
Yeah.
People say they're petrified giants, but what's happening is something called pareidolia. And can we find the meaning of that? Maybe even if you can't find that Wikipedia.
Yes, our right mind thinks it sees something, so that's what you.
Pareidolia is a psychological phenomenon of perceiving familiar patterns, most commonly faces, in random, vague, or ambiguous stimuli such as clouds, rock formations, or household objects. This also explains like the man on the moon theory, finding Jesus in a piece of toast, that kind of stuff.
Our brains have evolved to recognize bodies and faces quickly. So, nature, erosion, time, shadows create shapes that look uncannily human, like these. Look at, the man on the moon. There's just complete rocks. There's trees that look like humans.
The body is probably the most seen thing.
Look at that. I mean, and when you see it, you can't unsee it, right?
Yeah.
Like, but do I think mountains were literal stone giants? No. I think they were geology. And what we're seeing is just biological structures, bone cavities.
Or someone carved it out.
It looks like bone cavities and marrow spaces and organic patterns, but it's just rock. It's, fascinating that the earth can create these shapes so human looking that they spark legends like this. But, there you go.
It's also believed this is where the Norse theory of giants, like, what is it? The Norse theory of giants, this is where they believe they got it from, is because they would see these mountains and say, oh, well, that's a giant sleeping. Like right here, the Arizona Sphinx, for example. That's where the theory came in. There's also this one here. the Nephilim or whatever they called it back then. I'm not big in Norse mythology. I just know a little bit about it.
Uh-huh.
So, but that's what supposedly they got their theory from, was rock formations and pareidolia.
And next week we're going to talk about the Nephilim, and that's part 2 of the Giant series. We're going to talk about the Watchers and the Book of Enoch and Nephilim next week. So it's a 3-part series. This week was just giants, general giants. Next week is going to be Nephilim, the Watchers, and the Book of Enoch. And part 3 is going to be lost advanced civilizations. What's the deal with them?
Oh, I would love to do the Lost Civilization one. I got to work next weekend, unfortunately.
Well, that's going to be the week after. It'll be the week after.
Oh, okay. Because I'd love to do the Lost Civilization one, because it's like,
so we'll make sure you're here.
Have you heard about what they discovered with Göbekli Tepe?
These new discoveries, a little bit,
So they used
temple.
They used LiDAR. What they're trying to map out the ocean floor using LiDAR right now. And it's going to take them years to map out the ocean floor with all the trenches and everything. But they use a little bit of it over on the Göbekli Tepe. They've discovered underground bunkers. They're calling them bunkers for right now, but underground chambers that are larger than the site itself.
Wow.
They're thinking that they're asking, like, the whole question's been with Göbekli Tepe, if hunter-gatherers, that's the theory, is hunter-gatherers built it. If hunter-gatherers built Göbekli Tepe, how did they build these chambers underneath? It's almost reminiscent to what they found underneath the pyramids. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's going to be like, it's one of those things where it's like, I want to know more about it. I've been following it a lot, but they're coming out very slowly with the news on it.
Maybe put together a story for it for when you come back.
Oh, hell. Oh,
and give us an update.
Yeah, I'll get on it.
Yeah, that'd be good for that night. That's perfect. All right, so the Giants episode, ladies and gentlemen, that was pretty much it. But in closing, I want to say, why do people want giants to be real? And that's the real question, right? Why does the giant story survive? It's because giants represent, I think, something deeper. They represent lost history. They represent forbidden knowledge. They represent a world bigger than us that we don't know about. They represent like proof that they lied to us. Giants make the past feel powerful, and in a world that feels controlled now and documented and explained, people crave mystery. They love mystery, man, and I think that's why they continue on with this. But I hate to tell you, everybody, tonight, no documents of any kind of giants, really, and Smithsonian's not hiding nothing.
Well, I think the big theory about the whole giant thing and why people like it is because there's this fascination at the idea of a lost moment of history that we haven't discovered yet. Like, everybody knows about the dinosaurs. Everyone knows about the Ice Age, the ancient civilizations. Ever since this whole theory about the Younger Dryas extinction event, which happened at the end of the Ice Age, people have been like fascinated with the idea of like, well, what else don't we know about it? So, like, people are all starting to, Zeppelins are starting to make a comeback now. They're wanting to start flying Zeppelins now, which is like, why? We have helicopters, we have airplanes, we have faster, better ways of getting around.
I think it's just for the nostalgia of it.
I don't think it's the nostalgia. It
was a dumb idea.
It was a dumb idea because the last one blew up.
Yeah, wasn't that enough? I'm not getting on one of them damn things.
No,
I'm not getting on nothing that the random air decides whether you're going to die or not. Like the direction that the air is going. Like maybe you're going to go on these power lines in that balloon, hot air balloon, or maybe you're not. You know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's
no.
I think what it comes down to is like you have this. There's always been this fascination with something called steampunk. This is the idea of reinventing stuff from like the 1910s, 1920s, somewhere around there, and bringing it into modern civilization. And that's where the whole idea of flying zeppelins are coming into play, is because it's the idea that people want to do it because it's old fashioned, kind of like a horse ride, for example.
Yeah.
But the problem is, getting back to my original statement about, lost civilizations or lost history, I don't think, number one, if there was a lost moment in history where, let's say, giants existed or dragons, for example, the Smithsonian would have talked about it. Because what would the Smithsonian have? What reason would they have to hide it?
To not still panic like everyone says about aliens.
They're all just stories. They're all stories told about the Smithsonian and that are not true. Just like the National Enquirer, like Broomstick said, in the 1800s and 1900s, they just made stuff up and it was just got blown out of proportion,
Right.
I mean, yeah. So with giants, here's my honest conclusion. Extremely tall humans were real, like, 8'11", Robert Waldrow. But a hidden race of like 12 to 20-foot giants has no verified evidence. And the Smithsonian hiding giant bones has no proof. Floods erase some history, but not all. Not all. That's just not a good enough answer. And mountains that look like giants due to pareidolia.
There is an interesting story. The Kandahar giant. Have you ever heard this, Rob?
Yeah. It's a story, though.
U.S. soldiers find a giant, like 10 foot in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan, yeah.
And they end up killing it, and the U.S. government takes it. But the
problem
there's
no pictures.
No video, there's no pictures. It was back in like 2002, right when we invaded Afghanistan. But the problem is like only three soldiers came forward and claimed they saw this thing, while the rest of the group is like, I don't know what they're talking about. They're crazy.
It's a myth. That's a myth.
Yeah.
Giants as a biological race is just unproven. Myths that refuse to die, absolutely real.
Well, and another thing too is like, if you look at a giant, for example, you're going to have a problem with gravity. Like, so let's say you have a giant, like, let's say King Kong, for example. Let's say King Kong, for example. Let's say a creature like King Kong existed. It would crush itself under its own weight. It wouldn't be able to move. It wouldn't be able to, do anything. Yeah. It would crush itself because of gravity.
Wow.
As much as I love Godzilla and King Kong, they're not going to exist because gravity would destroy them.
I disagree.
Wow.
You disagree with science?
How do you explain all the other huge creatures on Earth?
Okay, dinosaurs had serious issues, but if you look at their bone structure, their bone density was so much more thicker than most modern animals. Huh. But the largest dinosaur would have been Dreadnoughtus, which was like 10, 12 stories tall. I gotta look this up real quick, actually.
I think if a creature's that big, I think its body structure is built to hold that much weight.
Dreadnoughtus was 80 feet long. Let's see, I'm looking for a height. How tall was he? And they've only found a few. Okay, he was 2 stories tall. So he was the size of, say, a small building. But he was one of the largest dinosaur species to be discovered. But you're talking like a difference between this guy here and one that would be the size of a skyscraper, like Godzilla or King Kong. Mm-hmm. That's more plausible because you have a thicker bone structure, particularly along the back area and the legs. So the bones would be thicker. So yes, he could support his own weight, whereas something like Godzilla couldn't.
Wow. So that's the giant segment. Tune in next week for part 2 about the Watchers, about Nephilim, and there you go. It's going to be and the Book of Enoch. We're going to talk about the Book of Enoch and what all that pertains to giants. So part 2 of Giants next week. Tyler, I got some dinosaur paleontology news for you.
Okay.
I'm going to drop it in the chat.
All right.
There you go.
Let's see this.
We're going to end the show tonight with special dinosaur, the latest in dinosaur news from Tyler.
Is on the Facebook chat or
no private chat? Sorry.
So I'm looking on private chat. I don't see it.
Not on there either.
I mess up. Hold on, I'll put it in Facebook chat. Why isn't it letting me? Okay, there we go. Sorry.
Okay, here we go.
Might be able to click on things better in there too. Or here, I'll get the first link up for you.
Let's see. Let's see. Oh, the fossil site in Romania. Oh yeah, that is cool. What came out of the Romanian fossil bed? Yeah. So it's about what earlier this week they actually found this. The idea behind Romania and Europe, they don't really have a lot of dinosaur fossils in Europe or Romania because the soil is mostly it's mostly all just topsoil. It's like there's some mineral that is in the ground that doesn't allow for fossils to be preserved in the earth. It's the same situation we actually have here in the U.S. or not in the U.S. in Illinois. Illinois, there's only fossils have been found. There's only been 3 fossils ever found. One was a partial mammoth. One was a triceratops, but that was because it was at the Missouri border as well. And then there was this, the Tully monster is what it's called, which is a little bottom-feeding fish. That's actually a state fossil because of it, which is, I hate that. Well, now they discovered there's an area, and it kind of makes me hopeful that maybe we'll find an area here in Illinois where you can find fossils. But they found an area where they believe a flood occurred, capturing a large amount of dinosaur species in a flood trap, and now it's being called a bone trap. Bone trap is where you have species laying on top of species. They're dead. They've been buried. It's like multiple different species. The only way to really remove the fossils is take the whole site out of the ground and then ship it off to a facility. They're calling it the K2 site because they believe it has something to do with perhaps the K2 extinction event, and it's preserved thousands of remains from prehistoric creatures from a flood-fed lake that act like a natural bone trap for 72 million years. So they have massive amounts of fossils they've got to go through. We're talking about creatures from the Cretaceous, the Jurassic, and Romania doesn't really have any fossils. So this is like they just got all their possible evidence that, yes, these are what animals lived in Romania. They just got all that dumped on their doorstep overnight. And this was found back before Christmas too. So that's a hell of a Christmas gift. So far they've identified 18 different species. They've got one possible new one. And here, I'll show you a picture of it real quick. We can take this down. New fossils of Qatar. Yeah, the Qatar sea cow. That's interesting too. I heard about that. And that Qatar's never had any evidence of a manatee or anything like that until just recently. Now they've got this, and it's like that came out of nowhere. So let me see here. I gotta pull up a picture of this thing real quick. Because once I show you the picture of the bone trap, you're good. You guys are gonna be like, how in the hell are they gonna dig all that out? Let's see. Because they've already identified one. They've identified an iguanodon specimen in the bone trap. They've already extracted it. Now keep in mind, this is back from like December. Here we go. Let me pull this up real quick. So there's a picture of the bone trap. Now what you see, it's not really a good photo.
I don't see anything.
You don't see anything?
I got you.
Oh, okay, thank you. So there's the bone trap right there. What you're seeing there, you got the thigh bone of what looks like a hadrosaur, perhaps. But what's interesting too here is you've got a backbone plate right there, right across from it. They see the backbone plates from a stegosaur, a member of the stegosaur family. Hadrosaurs and stegosaurs didn't exist together at the same time. They're separated by millions of years. So what you have is just this jumbled mess of bones from practically their whole history, their whole ancient history that just happened to be discovered. And here's a new one that came out. You want to talk about bone density, Bubba? Check this one out. That's a sauropod leg bone.
Don't see it. Oh, there it goes.
That's a sauropod leg bone right there.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah. So you see the bone density of his bone? That's twice as strong. That's 10 times stronger than most animals today.
Well,
like you would have
animals today are not that big.
Right. And that's because large amounts of calcium and all that stuff, built that up. It's got to support their weight. But that is one of the only other bones they managed to excavate from this site. So, but what their plan is they're going to dig up the whole site. They're going to get all the loose fossils first. They're going to get all the loose stuff first. And then they're going to exfil the remaining site, all the stuff that's still packed in the dirt, that's still packed in the rock. They're going to exfil it. And they're going to take it to London, where London is going to literally take years dissecting this whole area. And the thing is, too, about this whole thing is they don't know how large of a fossil, how large of a rock it's going to be. Because so far they're estimating maybe miles. But how do you move something like that? You don't. It's almost impossible.
Wow.
Like, it'd be something they'd have to end up saying, we'll just have to build a building around it and work on it from there because it'll take years. Like this guy right here. That is, I'm going to guess, from the skull right there. I think that's the skull right there. That's a member of the Mutilations family. That's the ones that usually ate the eggs and ran real fast, look like the ostriches.
Yeah.
But how do you take that out? How do you dig that out of the earth? You really don't. You really don't.
That's wild.
Yeah, so Romania's fossil record just went up 82 different species from what they only had 6 or 7 species.
Yeah.
So, and it leaves me hopeful because, like I said, Illinois has the same problem where the ground, the dirt, and the minerals in the ground, they're not good to preserve fossils. They don't allow fossilization. Like we said, we've only had 3 fossils ever discovered.
Really?
Yeah, we've had 3. Illinois state fossil is the dumbest. This state sucks. The Illinois state fossil is the dumbest thing on the planet. It's called the Tully monster. And the only reason
I've heard of that.
Yeah, the only reason it is our fossil is because we found 6 species all preserved in quartz quarries, which we don't really have a lot of quartz quarries in this area. It's mostly mica and limestone and whatnot. But it is a Cenozoic sea creature, a Cenozoic fish, more or less. This is him right here. This is your Totally monster. That's Illinois State fossil. That is the yeah. That and even this is the thing I hate about this fucking fossil too. People to this day argue whether that's actually what it looks like or not, because all we have found is this area here, the mouth and the neck, the trunk here, and then part of the eye stalks area. That's it. We have found
like a giant squid.
That's what some people believe. It's some kind of like cephalopod animal, but that's literally our state fossil. Like, that's it right there. That's
wow.
That's the main fossil we have. But that's the Illinois State fossil, and it's such bullshit because it is. Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, we know Illinois was mostly an inland sea back during the Cretaceous. It became a large inland sea. It was just, you had a large, like, when Pangea was splitting apart, Illinois was covered in water. So
really?
the argument has been, that's why you say some people will go out and they'll find like what's called artemites. It's the it's clay where you can see microorganisms have moved in and dug into, and you see like these small carvings and whatnot. Sometimes you'll find fossilized seashells. I've got in my garage, I should have brought it in. I've got a fossil barnacles that are from Illinois. And yeah, but the problem is that those fossils are all, you know, small and everything. You know, the Tully monster they found more of, and they've only found like a few complete specimens. But the argument's always been, you know, well, why doesn't Illinois have, you know, why haven't we found dinosaurs in Illinois?
That's wild.
Yeah. And I gotta look this up, so I gotta get the actual term for it correct.
Because they knew what Illinois was going to turn into one day.
Well, they knew the fossils would be taxed, probably. Yeah. Illinois has sediment sediment deposits, large sediment deposits that were washed off from erosion by that lake. So any fossils Illinois would have either been washed away by not just the lakes, but also the glaciers. Because, you know, the glaciers moved through this area too back during the Ice Age.
Wow.
So, like, you're missing fossils. Illinois has no fossils from the Triassic or the Jurassic because Illinois was above sea level and exposed to erosion, which means no sediment was accumulating to bury and fossilize bones. The glaciers moved in, destroying or moving whatever fossils we have out of the area. Like, for example, I mentioned earlier, Missouri, they found that Triceratops specimen just outside on the state border down there.
Mm-hmm.
They believe he was in Illinois. He's only like 82% complete because he's missing his tail and one of his legs. But they found him at the border between Missouri and Illinois. They think he was in Illinois originally. The reason they can't find a tail is because his fossil was moved with the glaciers. So, central or southern Illinois, you got better chances, like down there where the Triceratops was found, because there are some Cretaceous age rocks that exist in southern Illinois. They represent marine and coastal environments. So, it's one of those things where we're kind of like in the same case as Romania, but all of a sudden Romania had this huge slab of fossils dropped off on their doorstep. You never know. Maybe Illinois will find one. Who knows?
Drain Lake Springfield and then dig up the sediment. See what you find.
They're not going to be at Lake Springfield, dude. You're going to find leptospirosis in Lake Springfield.
A bunch of bodies.
Well, that too.
Yeah, you're going to find a bunch of bodies, a bunch of abandoned cars.
Guns.
Lots of guns.
Lots of guns.
Yeah, you ever watch those magnet hunter dudes? It's pretty wild. They come up with some wild stuff. Dead bodies and buckets with like a person in them and stuff, you know.
Yeah. What was the one they found a live grenade once in a way.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
how do
little
you
bombs and stuff.
yeah, how do
Yeah.
you find a first of all, how do you find a live grenade in a fucking
Or like
crazy?
I saw one dude, he found like it was a pipe bomb. It just hadn't exploded, you know, and the cops pulled up and he's like, "Oh, I found this." And they were like, "That's a bomb, dude," you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know what you're gonna find.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in all these bones found everywhere, no giant bones, no Bigfoot bones, nowhere.
Well,
And that's the problem.
that's because Bigfoot doesn't exist.
And neither did giants.
They're the giants. So
Neither did giants. Sorry. But there we have it. See, we were talking about, Tyler, just before you came on the show, how AI is making, you know, everything transparent now. We can go back to these myths and these things from the 70s and the 80s and go, you know, was that shit real? And now we can kind of go, no, it wasn't real.
right.
You know,
Well, the big argument with AI now is that it's cherry picking, is what they're claiming. It's cherry picking evidence.
maybe,
But
but
yeah,
it can't lie to you though. It can't lie to
How
you.
can
You
it?
know, I mean, it's
If as
built
long
to
as it was
not lie. It's
programmed to
built to
lie.
help you, and you know, it wasn't built to lie. It wasn't built. You know, it wasn't programmed to lie. It'll tell you that. Like if you call it a liar or whatever, it'll be like, you know, I don't lie. I'm not made to lie, and that was an accident. Maybe I messed up, you know, but I didn't mean to lie to you.
yeah.
It'll tell you that. I've
It-
had it tell me that because I've been like, "Yo, that's wrong." I bust it out all the time. AI's wrong a lot. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it'll give me answers, and I know are wrong, or it messes up too. It'll just mess up. I'll tell it to do something, and it'll just mess up, and I'll be like, "Hey, you only did like half of what I just told you," and it'll go, "Oh yeah, sorry. Here's the rest of it." It'll-
well, so I downloaded. I finally got tired of it. I'm like, you know what? Rob's all about AI. I'm gonna give it a try. I downloaded Chat GPT the other day.
Mhm.
And that thing is such a wonky POS. I couldn't tolerate it. I ended up deleting this damn thing because I was just messing with it, and I was like, hey, ChatGPT, tell me what the weather is supposed to be like for spring 2026, you know, because I'm getting ready for spring right now because it's February. Hopefully it's
Uh-huh.
gonna start warming up soon.
Uh-huh.
And it told me the weather outlook for 2026, and then it gave me the weather outlook for 2025. And I was like, ChatGPT, hey, you know, you gave me the wrong outlook. I want 2026, not 2025. Oh, my apologies. I gave you the wrong year. Here you go. And it gave me 2024. And I'm like, what? How can I make it any more? I want 2026,
That's
not 2025. So
you freaked it out.
I freaked it out.
You glitched it out. Yeah.
Well, so I went and I deleted it, and I'm like, what's the other one Rob uses? What's that? Grok. Grok's the other one you like.
Grok.
I tried Grok. Grok gave me the outlook, and I'm like, that's a lot better than Chat GPT.
Grok.
That's what I use.
Grok will you know, Chat GPT will go, you know, here's the answers, and here's the vanilla answer of what you want. Where Grok will kind of go, yeah, here's the answer, but hey, check this out, you know, or you might have forgot about this, you know, or you know, it kind of, you know, oh, if you're looking at cats, what about dogs? You know,
Right.
it'll kind of go a little farther, I think, and it's also better with images, I think, too. Whenever you tell it to make images, like Chat GPT is a little limited.
Yeah, I
Kind
noticed Chat GPT. I haven't tried OpenAI, but I think I'm going to stick with Grok. I was like,
OpenAI is Chat GPT.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
Same
okay.
thing.
I thought there were two different things.
No, yeah, it's I don't know why, but yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
Well,
So
it's Chat GPT. It's Grok. What's the third one then? It's
Genesis.
Genesis. It's the other one.
That one is. I tried using it and it sucked. I thought for just asking questions and stuff. I thought it sucked, but it's supposed to be really good for making images and videos and music and stuff. So it's supposed to have a step forward where where like Chat GPT and Grok, you might have to get an app or something to make some cool stuff. Genesis kind of does it already. So
Right.
that's what I understand about it. For multimedia things like make me a flyer, or make me a business card, or it does stuff like that really good, I guess. So I don't know. Well, that's about it, guys. I'm gonna get out of here. We Next week is part 2 of the Nephilim and the Watchers and Book of Enoch and our giant series. But that's just going to be a segment of the show. So the second part will be next week. And otherwise, I don't know what we got going on. I had probably just going to be a latest news thing, what's going on in the world type of thing, and back to our regular stuff. So cool.
Sounds awesome.
Tyler, thanks for the dinosaur report. That's
Yeah,
pretty awesome, man. That's some amazing news coming out of that place, isn't it?
Sorry, I'm late. Sorry. Oh yeah,
Oh, did you see the app? Hold on.
The app.
Yeah, in that story I sent you. Hold on. It's the dinosaur app. So it's a cool brand new AI app that can identify which dinosaur left a footprint from photos. You didn't see that?
Oh no, I just saw this.
Yeah. So if we'll click on that, let's see.
Oh, bring it up. I got it right here, actually.
Yeah, go ahead, bring it up.
Hey, boom.
Yeah. So what's the deal? It can tell, you can just from the photos, it's speeding up research massively and giving paleontologists a powerful new tool.
All right, that is AI making society better, in my opinion, because that is really cool. Because if you can do that with a dinosaur footprint, then you can eventually do it with bones. You can do it with other species bones, such as mammoths or stuff like that. That's really cool.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Dino Tracker. I'm going to download that just for the hell of it. I don't care.
You know, Tyler's going to be on that.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case you come across something, you're going to be like, don't worry, I got the app. Hold on. You come across the track out in the middle of the desert or some mountains, you're going to be like, wait a minute.
So I got something I might be telling people. I got something I might be working on, actually. I might be going on an amateur paleontology dig next summer.
Oh, wow.
Because
Congratulations.
this year's all booked up. I've always wanted to go dig up a dinosaur. There's an online group that allows you to hook up with actual paleontologists and go out and kind of help. And you get to help them for a day or stuff like that. And
wow.
It's a lot of money, and I'd have to go out to like Arizona or Nevada in the middle of the summer, which I can handle the heat. I'm fine with that. I like it more than cold weather, but I mean, you might see me next year. This spring, I'm getting my new studio set up in my garage. Next spring, you might see me come back. I might have a Tyrannosaurus skull in my studio.
Nice. So is that an app that you download, it looks like, or you got to buy it, or what?
Let me look real quick.
Is it in the App Store, or what?
I'm looking. Let me see here.
Dino Tracker. All our listeners are going to be downloading this now, just in case you come across a dinosaur somewhere. It's like just in case you come across Bigfoot.
Dude, if they have that for dinosaur feet, chances are they would have it for
Bubba. There you go. You need to come up with a Bigfoot foot tracker app.
Oh, it's not finished yet. It has yet to reach the app stores on like iPhones and Android. But
oh wow! So they're building it with AI. It says
a beta version is in development right now.
Are you able to sign up for the beta or something?
Let's see here. Can I?
Or join the beta group for testers or something? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll go test it out here in Illinois.
Nice.
No dinosaur farm.
Yeah, true. Not much testing going on here, but
no.
All right. Well, that's the show, everybody. Tune in next week to Weird Frequencies. We're on now at 7 p.m. And, we're going to be on from like 7 to 8, pretty much, for the most part. Tonight, we went a little later because we started a bit late, but that's okay. And shameless self-promotion. I sell cars at Green Mazda. Come and buy a car from me if you need a Lincoln or a Mazda or any kind of used vehicle. But if I got new Lincolns and new Mazdas, so best cars in the world. Come and see me. There you go. Green Mazda out on 6th Street.
Best cars in the world.
I'm the best car salesman in the world.
You're the best car salesman, period. There you go.
There you go. Come and see me.
Dude, I've been seeing all your stuff on TikTok. I reposted. I'm like, I gotta repost it, try to give it some more,
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I see I make them stupid AI videos and people see me all over the place and they're just like, oh, I saw your video, man. Oh, that shit's funny. Like people I don't even know now. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I throw a little AI in there and I throw in a lot of me, just me selling out on the lot, just being me is what I try to do. It's not so much like I'm on there selling cars. I'm on there like just telling people that I sell cars. That's my plan anyway. So yeah, but you guys have a good night and thanks for watching and interacting with the show. Broomstick, Skeletor, all the regulars. We appreciate you guys so much and thank you. We'll talk to you guys next Sunday night at 7 p.m. Peace out.